Hi, I'm Scott Tombleson. I'm the principal of South Portland High School. These flags, almost all of them behind me, are places that my wife and I visited while we were in Egypt. And it was just so challenging and so difficult in so many ways to be in a new culture and to not understand the social cues and not understand how society works, and to have to figure it out. It was exhausting and exhilarating, and a line that I often use is, it was the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life, and at the same time I would do it again in a heartbeat, because it was just so amazing and so fantastic on so many levels. I went there as the technology director for the school. This job in Egypt as the tech director at Schutz American School in Alexandria, Egypt, which is right on the Mediterranean Sea, was a way of putting together those areas of my life. So I taught Intro to Computer Science, an AP course, and then I was the technology director. It was really interesting job because the different countries have different access to technology, that we were trying to replace the Wi-Fi in the school. And Cairo is a city that's about 4 hours away from Alexandria, and we had a company from Cairo come in to help us install this system. Drove a van and they were stopped by the police, and the police didn't know what the equipment in the back of their van was. They thought it was a bomb. So they took that crew and they threw them in jail. I was sitting there, hours past. There's this crew is supposed to come show up and help us figure this out, and I was getting angry what happened. And then I got a call and it said that they were detained in jail, and did I know anything about them coming to Schutz American School with some equipment? And of course I was like, yeah. So they let them go from jail and they continued on their way. It was about 3 hours later that they actually showed up. But that's the kind of pretty typical challenge that you would run into in Egypt. I mean, who would have thought that they would be stopped by the police and then the police would think this was a bomb and they'd go in jail? Like that doesn't happen in our context here, right? So really fascinating learning experience. Saw just a ridiculous number of sites. Of course, got to see the pyramids. I rode a camel around the pyramids, saw the Sphinx, see these hieroglyphics that are thousands of 3,000 years old. Like, what the heck is 3,000 years? You just can't understand what that scale is. But there's nothing like that experience of being at the base of the pyramid, because it goes up seemingly forever, and you have this sense of like, how 3,000 years ago did they do this? I went to Luxor, which is this massive temple. You see the etchings of people. When Europeans sort of first started to travel to Egypt, they would carve their initials into these monuments, which of course you can't do now, and you shouldn't do. Even just kind of recounting the things that we saw, it's kind of unbelievable that I had these experiences, but they're there, and everybody should go do it. I made lifelong friends there, other teachers. There's this very negative view of Muslims and Middle Easterners, which I want to do everything I can to dispel, because I've never in my life anywhere felt more welcome. I've never in my life felt any more appreciated and valued and respected by everybody. I heard people say, "I'm gonna hate you because you're American," and they don't. Of course they don't. It was hard to be in a place where you had to be on all the time to figure out all the cues. And so, it makes me think about folks in this school that are coming from other cultures and other experiences, and understand on some level that experience of having to be on to figure out things. And like we understand how school works here, because Americans have grown up through this, so we understand the unwritten rules, the expectations, and somebody coming in doesn't. And it's exhausting. 3 years in, we retired. We wanted to try another experience, and so we ended up actually moving to the city of Boston. In the future, it was such a powerful experience that, some people retire. When they retire, they go do this, and that might be an interesting thing to do. It was fun. So happy to be back, but always ready for an adventure. It was probably the hardest thing that I ever did, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat.